Hello, I'm Delusion Dispeller. Welcome back to my channel. And I'm going to be talking about this book right here, How to Break Your Addiction to a Person by Howard L. Halpern. Howard M. Halpern. Sorry, I always get that wrong. Howard M. Halpern. And I have done this book before. I just kind of stopped in the middle for Christmas break and a bunch of other stuff that was going on, and it's time to begin talking about it again. So we are on part 10. This time we're talking about controlling for guilt. Guilt trips. When people tell you things are your fault that aren't your fault, that kind of thing. So basically, using guilt is a way that some people get you to stay in a situation that you really should move on from. I went through this years ago with my mentor. That it wasn't so much that she was using the guilt, but that I felt guilty because of her illnesses, because of the strain in her marriage, because of other things going on in her life. I felt like if I didn't stay, she wouldn't get through it. Like I was the person that she needed to depend on. So I felt guilty if I were to cut things off with her, even though it was a very toxic situation. Um, I had to. So, and I'm glad I did. I never regretted that. And honestly, I don't think she regretted it either because she was able to go get some of the help that she needed and move on in her life and live a pretty happy life as far as I understand. So let's look at some of the forms of guilt statements. Um, how about like when you have that relative that says, I'm sorry you're so busy that you couldn't even bother to stop over to my house. Your sister certainly has time to do that. What's wrong with you? That type of thing. I actually knew a lady in her 50s whose mother did this to her a lot. Why can't you come and see me? Your sisters always do. Guilt tripping. Honestly, I would not want a parent like that guilt tripped me into coming to see them because I wouldn't want to come see them, parent or not. Nobody wants to feel forced or guilted into doing things. Um, I could have really been somebody if you didn't want to stay home and work. If you would have gone out to work and we could have both been working, then I could have been somebody. I could have advanced in my career, but you had to stay home. You had to get sick. You had to have cancer, whatever their excuses, whatever. It's your fault that they didn't become somebody because you had to stay home. Like somebody wishes to have some kind of illness that keeps them homebound. Um, I get sick all the time because you won't give me what I need. You won't make my meals for me. You make me get up and make my sandwiches. If you would just do what I want you to do, then I wouldn't be getting sick because I wouldn't be straining myself so much. Um, if you treated me better, I wouldn't be an addict. I wouldn't drink all the time. I wouldn't do drugs all the time. Um, Oh, I remember when my ex-husband used to use all the time. Four ladies in the or three ladies in the house and you can't even get dinner ready. Three ladies in the house and you can't even keep this house clean. Or the favorite one that a lot of people in my life have used, a lot of mean people, was even a moron would know how to do that. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. Stuff like that. And I'm guilty of saying these things to people sometimes too, like in the past. Not so much now because I catch myself, thinking stuff before I say it a lot of times. But yeah, it's real easy to fall into that pattern of laying subtle digs and guilt trips on people. Um, Stop scolding me. I'm feeling like I'm gonna die. I'm gonna have a heart attack. Do you remember the show Sanford and Son? Every time something didn't go the way he wanted it, he'd be like, "Oh, Gladys, I'm coming, Gladys," or whatever her name was. You know, his wife, his deceased wife. I'm coming. This is the big one. This is it. This is really it, baby. I'm coming. And people would like laugh because it was pretty funny. That show was a riot. But it was like to make Lamont, his son, feel guilty for him or to include him in something, he would fake having a heart attack. That kind of stuff. Um, You go enjoy yourself. It's not my fault that you don't want to spend time with me. That kind of stuff. Matthew uses that one with me sometimes. He'll say, you know, oh, that's fine. Just go ahead. It's not my problem that you don't want to spend time with your husband that you claim to love. Now, he does it teasingly, not as a guilt trip thing, but it's still the sentence. I'm a big firm believer in out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So even though he's meaning it kind of goofy, sometimes it just makes me kind of ticked off. Um, oh, this one. I've had friends say this to me. Well, if you really cared about me, you would have been here on time. Now, because of you, I'm going to be sick from standing out in the cold. And if it was like some kind of unforeseeable thing that caused me to be late coming and getting them. Um, oh, this was another one my ex used to use with me all the time. The kids are becoming very alienated from us. You need to go spend time with them. You're so busy on the computer all the time. You never spend time with the kids, but he would be the one making me busy on the computer by giving me assigned tasks to make our home based business successful so he could become a millionaire because that was his dream. But like a double bind type thing. You don't spend enough time with the kids. Well, you're putting me to do all these tasks. How am I going to have time to be with the kids? Um, oh, this is a good one. Um, any doctor would tell you that too much stress on your husband is going to cause him to have a heart attack. Like my husband would say that to me at the time. You're going to make me die. You're going to make me have a heart attack. You're stressing me out too much and stuff like that. Guilt trips. Um, a lot of times we're the sender of these things, and other times we're the receiver of these messages. But it kind of takes on the role of victim versus persecutor. And it's kind of like people will say stuff like, well, if you leave me, I'm not going to be able to live anymore. I have to have you with me at all times because I'm nobody without you. Like, you're my better half. You're my other half. I'll just curl up and die. I'll do away with myself. I'll take these pills. I'll shoot myself. I'll do this. I'll do that. I've had lots of people in my life in the past threaten with that because I've run into a lot of borderline people, and it's real common for them to threaten suicide. Um, and it causes you to want to stay by them just in case they might do something. It's kind of a attachment hunger feeling that we get that we're going to be scared if we break things off with this person, but it's the best and most healthiest thing for us to do. Or sometimes they'll turn it on you when you say, look, I feel really attacked right now. Then they'll say, you feel attacked. Well, look at how you treat me. Look at what you do to me. And all you're doing is asking for like boundaries or something in the relationship, and they turn it all on you. You know, that happened a lot in my first marriage. And a lot of times we do this to people if we're the ones perpetrating the guilt trips. We do it because it was done to us. Our parents would say, "You'll be the death of me," is a very common phrase. I've actually heard Matthew's mom say this sometimes. They're going to be the death of me. We have to realize our words are very powerful, and what we say with our mouths to other people take root in their hearts. So we have to be careful that our speech is ordered by God as much as possible, and at least kind, if not ordered by God. Um, Also, we use guilt to hold on to people, to keep them with us. And it's not healthy. And if you're doing that, you need to get help and find out why you're doing it and how to stop doing it. Um, Using phrases like, you're the one to blame. That was my ex husband's favorite saying, you're the one. You're the one. He always used to say that to me about everything. If I'd say, well, we're going to be late for this party, you're the one that had to do this. You're the one that had to get ready. You're the one that didn't have the kids ready. It was always, you're the one, you're the one, you're the one. When I divorced him, you're the one that broke up the family. It's all your fault. You know, I didn't do anything. You're the one. You're the one acting crazy. You don't see me acting like that. You're the one, after he just provoked me and provoked me to the point where I snapped. Yeah, I was the one, all right, because you can only take so much piling of stuff on you emotionally till you finally lose it. Um, it's human. We all only have, a fuse to a certain extent, and then it's like we blow in some form or another. Um, Look at what you made me do. There's another guilt phrase. Look at what you went and made me do now. A lot of times, abusive parents will say that to their children while they're beating them. Look at what you made me do. I didn't want to have to hit you, but you made me hit you. No, kids don't make you hit them. You can go in another room, you can take a walk, you can call a neighbor, you can call for help. Don't give me that baloney. Look at what you made me do. My child is so awful. They make me do this. No, they don't. No, they don't. You lost control. You made a choice, and it was an awful, terrible, abusive, bad choice. And you need to get help if you're doing that. Period. Um, it's going to be hard to give up the habit of trying to control somebody through guilt tripping because you learned it early on by having it done to you. Okay. Um, if it's your partner that's the one in the victim role, playing the victim basically, and saying that it's all because of you that they are the way they are, or that they missed the ride, or they didn't get the job, or whatever, you need to look at yourself and say, look at the situations and say, am I really doing this? Did I really hurt them in this way? Did I neglect them in this way? And if you didn't, then realize it says more about them than it does about you. Um, Going back and forth, entering the blame back and forth. Well, you did this. No, you did that. Well, what about when you did this? It'll go on forever. It's not going to help things any. Chances are that you're probably not in a position of being the bad one, and they're seeing you that way, especially if they're narcissistic or borderline or something like that. Above all, it's important to realize that just because you leave or you end things or you take a break or whatever, your partner falling apart is not your fault. And even if they do away with themselves, it's not your fault. They don't have to fall apart, they don't have to end their lives because you leave them. That's a choice on their part. It could even be a better opportunity if you leave their lives and they go and get the help. Maybe they'll meet somebody new that they're more compatible with, or that maybe, you know, has dealt with their own issues, and the two of them can form a better relationship than you and them. I know you don't want to hear that. I know so many people have written to me about narcissistic partners and want to know, well, how do I bring them back into my life? You don't want to, you shouldn't want to, and yeah, I'm shooting you now. You should not want a toxic person in your life. You should not want to hold on to somebody that's abusing you. That says that you have an issue that you need to go and talk to somebody about. If you want an abuser in your life to continue to abuse you just to have someone, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. There's a lot of reasons maybe why it would be okay to stay in the relationship, but feeling blackmailed by guilt trips constantly, feeling like everything is your fault, feeling like nothing you do is ever going to be right, is not a good reason to stay in a relationship. So that was a little bit about controlling through guilt in this book, How to Break Your Addiction to a Person. If you're being guilted in a relationship, like I said, you need to look at yourself and see if you really are guilty of doing what you're accused of. And if you're not, and this can happening as a pattern, it's time to really consider maybe taking a step out, maybe going and staying with somebody for a while till you can sort through your feelings and kind of think about the circumstances away from the circumstances, or maybe out and out ending things with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, your friend, whoever it is. Just something to think about. All right. On the next How to Break Your Addiction to a Person, we're going to talk about controlling people through jealousy. And I will see you on the next How to Break Your Addiction to a Person. Thanks for listening. See you next time. Bye.